Hi, this is Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science. So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Welcome back. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. This is the one and only IT in the D Show. I'm your host, Bob Waltenspiel, hanging out with co-host, producer extraordinaire, Randy Walker. We got a double duty guest this week. Jeff Marraccini's in the house, former VP of IT, former turned CISO, and now he's they got bought by some German company we can't name. So, but Jeff is actually, your title's America's Sweetheart. If we can make business cards for you, I think he brought chocolate. And then first timer?
Yeah.
I thought you were on remote once.
No, we were supposed to a few times, but it never quite worked.
We always had Schneebs on or something. But Daniel Ayala in the house from, you might know him from the Great Security Debate podcast. You might know him as a CISO on. Are you on sabbatical?
I am.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
I swear I didn't push him away.
That's fine. Yeah, it's your fault.
It's
you guys
my
were
fault.
working together when we booked this show. But you can find us online, itinthed.com. And do us a favor, give us a like on the social, subscribe to us everywhere. Fine podcasts are sold.
You missed a good meetup, Bob.
I heard.
Royal Oak was fantastic. We were at Bar Louie, a lot of new people, a lot of returning faces. We had some job seekers, we had some recruiters, we were making connections.
When you get asked to MC in a corporate event of a company that you work for, you got to say yes. So apologies.
Understandable. But we've got some dates to announce. Wednesday, Wednesday, December 3rd at not Mothfire, at Holmes this time over in Ann Arbor. Over on Jackson Holmes Brewery on.
Who's home?
Yours, once you have a couple of their beers, they're amazing.
Yeah,
That's what I've heard.
it's a good beer. And then back here in the Detroit Shipping Company on Thursday, December 18th.
We'll also be at December 4th. We'll be at the CXO Exchange, the Winter Wonderland at the Madison. We'll be podcasting all day with various guests, so that should be a good time. And then we also got asked, oh my God, what day is it? Like January 22, we're going to be speaking at OCC to a bunch of students and companies on jobs and properties of jobs and Demented and Social. You know, we'll see how that goes, but I'll have more information when we'll publish it on Meetup. Gentlemen, how we doing?
It's been fantastic. It's actually good to be home for a while. No travel for a little bit.
I'm always jealous of your Germany trips because, you know, I got family there, and every time you go, I have to like I don't just I love all your posts on Facebook, and I get angry if you're not like having the beer, not that brand, Jeff. I want, or what dinners you're ordering, or,
You
did
see
you
my
get the
photos.
Spetzel? Yeah. You didn't get the red cabbage you skipped. Come on, Jeff. But I want to just say something. I think you're one of a few people in this town. I could probably count them on one hand that actually worked in gainful employment at one company in IT in this town for 28 years. For that, I want to salute you.
Thank you.
And the company got bought now. You'd still be at that company. But to be at that, you don't run into too many people. There's somebody that Microsoft I was with last week that was been at Microsoft for like 24 years or something. Absolutely unheard of in IT. You will never hear it from a sales guy in IT. But hats off to a hell of a run.
Thank you. But part of it too is we kept reinventing ourselves, Bob. So you look at it from the early days, trying to get Unix machines talking to Windows machines like everybody else was trying to do on the planet, moving into high performance computing, all that fun stuff. And then getting into public cloud, looking at the costs and realizing, we should probably move some of that back on premise. So we kept reinventing the team. So the team had a constant chance to skill up, move over, try something new. Maybe it didn't work out. We all made mistakes. Sometimes we backed the wrong horse or whatever. But 28 years was certainly fun. Yeah. We missed our 40th anniversary before we were acquired. But
you still have the party.
The company's 40 years old, which is I'm very proud of.
Again,
85.
Tech, that's insane.
It is.
One more thing, then we'll get to Dan. But when Eric Willie was on a couple of weeks ago, we talked about his transition from CISO to CTO. Yeah. And you had a reverse transition where you were in charge of infrastructure and IT, and you moved to a CISO role.
Very, very true.
Talk to me about that transition, because we talked to Eric and he's like, "Oh yeah, nothing changed." And I'm like, "You're lying. You're being polite. Everything changed."
Exactly. You have to get in front of customers a lot more, and you look at it from a perspective of, we were engineering software, which is what we were known for.
Yeah.
We bought data analytics. We bought a lot of portfolio companies that were doing some amazing technology. And we had to figure out how can we harden these solutions? How can we package them so they'll work in on-premise and in cloud, blah, blah, blah. And we looked at it. The product security part really is, you're never done. It's a journey that you never finish. And you look at the opportunities there, Bob, with moving away from dealing with routing tables and trying to deal with Cisco and Juniper and all the network stuff and Mellanox and all the NVIDIA GPUs and all that.
Yeah.
How do you secure this stuff? And it was an opportunity. I was pleased to have it. We had to deal with incidents like any other company. Our name started with an A, so we were up on the script kiddie list. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah. But
there was something new every day, and I did sleep good at night. I had a good team.
God, see, that's the one, before the show started, I leaned in and I said, you're working for an international multi-billion-dollar company. And I said, do you just your drive in the morning is like, please God, don't let anything break. Dan had a great answer. He's like, no, because if I did what I'm supposed to do, I know that I'm walking into at least something I'm prepared to tackle. And I go, that was a fantastic answer. But how were you driving into work in the morning? Was it like, please God, please God, please God? Then you get there and the lights are green and you're like, yes. Or was it kind of the same methodology?
So we had to practice a lot. You do a lot of tabletops. Certainly,
Dungeons
you listen.
And Dragons.
You do. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh.
Because you are role playing.
Sure.
In a lot of cases. Sometimes
the worst part about being in sales, by the way, the role playing.
Oh my gosh! But sometimes you get the call. Why are you shipping an old version of Tomcat on your software? Why are you shipping a version of Perl that's 10 years old? Blah blah blah. So okay, I will talk to the devs. We will fix that. We'll have a new release for you. Whatever. So sometimes you did have to react. Sometimes there was stress. People made mistakes. But on the other hand, you were really proud when they'd find this open source package that would save your bacon. They'd find a new way to get the security logs so we can actually take action on them. We were in 4 different big clouds. My new organization really is only in 2. So you look at that, how can we bring some of that? And some of what Dan brought to the table as well. How can we diversify some of this? What I thrived on, and I still thrive today, is not worrying so much about who is going to screw up. Is it going to be me that clicks on the link? Is it going to be somebody I know that clicks on the link? No, mine is, we know our backup systems are good.
Yeah.
We know our products have good hardening. We are in decent shape if something does happen. You got to live your life and move on. You can't always be worrying about things. That's a way to have tons of ulcers, stress, and not being a nice person.
You can't last this long in the industry, being like that. Especially you have 2 gray hairs up there. Not like me. After my 3rd daughter, I went straight white. Skipped the whole even going gray. But we said before the show, we're banning the word agentic today.
We'll see how long it lasts.
We'll see how long. Yeah, no, you're not allowed to say it.
Broke it.
But with the advent, 2 years, basically it was 2 years ago, everybody was our board says we need to go AI.
Yeah.
And then a year ago, we POC'd everything. And then this year, the MIT study comes out and says we have no value with AI. But yet everybody, you have 73,000 vendors calling you about this latest AI tool. You guys are arguing about this stuff on your podcast. Has this impacted you at all? Is this sabbatical? You're I'm unplugging from AI, or is this thing where's your head at when it comes to with security? Because we've sat in front of some of the autos and they said, if you talk to me about security of implementing AI, I'm throwing you out. And I said, what are we doing here then?
Actually, a little bit of the opposite. I guess, first of all, I want to address something that Jeff said. Think back to 30 years ago, and think how much that person would be amazed and surprised that security is so much a part of the customer care. They care in a way 30 years ago version of us never did. And that's what makes this job so cool and what lets us have
30 years ago.
power.
We have a firewall. We're secure. That was 30 years ago.
We don't even need to ask you about it.
100%, Dan. 100%.
But to the AI question, so yeah, I'm taking a few months break here. And I'm actually, it's a good opportunity for me to be able to go in and actually start playing with some of this stuff in a carefree way. I don't have to put
outside the fish tank, basically.
In the fish, fish tank.
Yeah.
I don't have to sit and consider all of the parameters of the data I'm putting in. And I'm not saying this is the real world, but it lets me start to dabble in a way that gets me comfortable with how we could eventually use these things in a controlled way. Helps you start to be better at guiding governance and using it to help enable business in a way that is not 30 years ago security guy, which is, I'm sorry, you can't do that.
Isn't it funny, like today though, how the world shifted? I think it's marketers' fault. I always blame marketers. How everything was zero trust. And it was no different than AI, where we had 15 guests in a row talking zero trust and never said the same thing twice.
Yeah.
And now it's data governance. And you don't really hear zero trust. I don't even see it on a lot of even the security vendors' websites.
But we've all achieved zero trust. That's why, right?
But it was, well, no, it was always a methodology. And then when people that sold products were like, even I saw it, and I'm a dumb sales guy, that it was a methodology. But now even with data governance, I don't even like true secure data. Like, is that a thing? Like, is that achievable or is that a utopia?
The one thing so I've spent the last 15 years or so living in both the security and the privacy worlds. And the privacy world is way further along to where I'd like to see the security world get when it comes to this, which is use it, know how you're going to use it, tell me how you're going to use it, and stick within that and use it that way. Security has been much more of the you can't or you can, but we're getting more toward that, where it's in, there is good use for this. There's revenue enablement for this. There's customer benefit for this kind of use case. So let's take off our protective moms and dads hat and look at how do we use this to help people be a little bit better. Granted, we are moving as an industry, I think, a little bit slower than the people who want to create products with it in it or sell the products to us. But I think we'll come out. I was joking with some folks last week around, I just live right now in the trough of disillusionment on this topic. It's just, I'm a cynic. I'm in the right field, right? And
we're all cynics. Have you been in this business for more?
That's what I'm saying. I'm amongst friends and in the right place. But I can see ways that this will be able to help us once we get out of the hype period and once we get out of the everybody's doing it. You're going to pan for gold, and the dirt's going to come out the bottom, and we will see a few nuggets of gold, but it's going to be way less in quantity than the amount of stuff we put in the pan to start with.
So you guys have been around a while, as long as I've been around. You know what this feels like to me? When it first broke, it felt like 2008 CIO magazine saying, we need to get to the cloud. Why? Because we need digital transformation. Well, what is it? I don't know, but we need it. We need to be AI. Why? So, but if you look at, like, there was a presentation done, Scott Smith, who was this guest speaker, and he was speaking on how he built AI testbed. Basically put guardrails on sandboxing.
Try something, sure.
Which reminded me of the old arguments I would have where, like, compute is bitching at network that they can't, devs bitching at them that they can't stand some network fast enough. The network can't get compute fast enough, and compute's got to yell at storage. And then they had converged infrastructure. What's that? We need it. Why? But it reminded me of that. We're going, can't we just give them a sandbox? And like, well, no, because it takes like 8 weeks or whatever, 3 weeks to provision internal. And then Converge came out, and now we can do it now. But it seems like now with AI too, it's like we have shadow ITs come back because now they're doing AI everywhere. I can't do it. Now I'm breaking security protocol because I'm using these tools that aren't authorized by my org because they're too slow. So now we have to go back to build sandboxes, which is like what I'm saying. It's all like everything reminds me of stuff that we've gone through, but it's just a different name right now.
You look at it, the transition from spinning Rust hard drives, it's still out there, of course, to SSDs that enabled a lot of interesting changes. Instant on computers, our smartphones, things like that. A lot of that started to come.
I remember when flash storage, that was like it was the greatest thing. But it was like, oh my God, it's so expensive.
It was unbelievable. It was an amazing transformation. If of course, for a while we were losing data because it was,
you had to keep it, or you had to keep it powered. And
yes, you had to be very careful with it. But with that said, you hit it exactly. When you look back at 2008 as well, the internet had kind of taken off for about 10 years at that point, a little more than that, but roughly. Now we have situations where people can go onto Hugging Face, they can grab the model du jour, and they can build something but very few people know how to secure it. Very few people know how to scale it, which is still a problem. A lot of the same problems we had back in 2008 when virtual machines and so forth were the rage before containerization took off. All that stuff, we're seeing some repeats in that area too. You get to a situation as well, getting into the privacy part. Now we're hearing the EU may want to weaken GDPR because they're not innovating in artificial intelligence. So it's just wild. The people that we're holding up as the icons of privacy, the Europeans, are actually considering weakening their laws because they feel like they're getting beat up. And it's not necessarily us. They're worried about East Asia. A lot of them are.
It's funny when AI first broke, ChatGPT first broke, and I'm like, oh, it's just a super search engine, and I got a lot of like people screaming.
Oh yeah,
no, it's not. And I'm like, it totally is. But I'm like, it's all I'm doing is thinking of Skynet. Mm-hmm. And like the conversations we're having today, we're past that. Like, because I remember, like we talk about all the time, the conversations of the two Google bots talking to each other, creating their own language, and they're gonna kill the world. Like, or they're gonna burn us all
the way.
Yeah. I'm like, did that go away? Like, I haven't heard that. Like,
yeah. Well, what's part of what's
coming? We build in the RoboCop protocol. Like, that's why you got to fire Dick Jones so you can shoot him. Like,
part of it too is
he killed. No, it wasn't. He goes, I work for Dick Jones.
I work for Dick Jones. Yeah.
You're fired, and shot him anyway.
But you look at it too with Jan LeCun leaving Meta, Facebook Meta, talking about world models, the paradigm shift that may be coming. We may be getting to the point where these large language models don't really go anywhere. And this town, we have a lot of engineers, we have a lot of technology people, we have a lot of people trying to do robotics. A world model in a way makes sense. If you can teach an artificial intelligence to be able to see the world not quite as we do, but maybe in some ways better, we might be able to get to self-driving cars and our dotage.
That's a good point you bring up. We want guardrails, we want it secure, we want our data, but we also want it to be one step ahead. How do you release? You don't want it to get too far out because then it starts hallucinating or you get bad data, garbage in, garbage out. Like, again, you might have the answer more than me because I've thought about this. Like, that was the only way AI is perfect is when it's very limited to a certain thing.
Constrain it.
Like the robotics company, you digitize their manual and that's all you can see and talk to. But then it's not really, there's no gen to it. It's just it's just a search engine. It's a souped up search engine.
And it goes
like, how do you make it be intelligent then with being secure and being accurate?
But when you think about it, the tactical intents that people are talking about are exactly that. People aren't at the moment. Now, granted, it's a tactical thought and there's much more beyond it, but they're just looking for ways to make people work faster, more smarter, easier, take the searching away, take away the front end where I need a customer service representative and the chat bot who pretends to be a customer service representative can take care of 90% of it. It's just the voice response unit. Press 1 to go here, press 2 to listen to my banking hours so I don't have to have a person answer you, just on another level. And I think in that it is finally achieving a level of usefulness. It is in self-service, in user search research awareness. The next things, though, I don't know that the models we have today will be what get us there.
Right. So that was one of the things we talked about at Microsoft last week. And it was like, it's great that Copilot saves you an hour a week. Like, but what's Skippy and accounting doing with that extra hour? Is it just you get to spend more time with the water cooler and bitch about the Lions? Or like, and then it got to this argument of middle management not like allowing people to innovate. I'm like, do you want Skippy and accounting to innovate though? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's this whole disconnect with cool that you're saving this time, but like, is it really bringing value or are you just like, can they just work faster? And that's value if you can just work faster.
Well, part of it too, though, is we're trying to free up time, and pardon it's a cliche, so we can be more strategic, so we can do our tabletops, so we can practice, because otherwise everyone's spending in the security world, they're spending all their time fighting fires. They're staring at that glass dashboard, the mythical, all the feeds are coming in and they're seeing, threat actors, they're seeing stuff going on. They're seeing systems that are down. They're seeing Cloudflare had issues, whatever, these type of things reacting. And ideally, you can use some of the AI capabilities to handle some of those things in an autonomous manner. You see a cloud account going crazy. Well, Wiz says that blah, blah, blah is happening. All right, well, let's go ahead and terminate that Kubernetes instance, flip it over and fail over like Chaos Monkey was doing back in the day for Netflix.
Yeah.
Just essentially at another level. The problem with that is, and you hit it exactly, Bob, is if you go too far off the rails with some of this stuff, you can have where something malfunctions and all of a sudden everything is shut down. You can't get in to bring it back up.
Right.
And that's where the guardrails are coming. So I'm with you.
It's when you brought up 08, all I kept thinking about, and I brought this up a few times on the show, like I remember HP services when I was at HP. They had this big thing, and the reveal was we spend 80% of our time on break fix and 20% on innovation. How do we flip it? And here we are in 2026 in a minute, and I don't think it's changed.
I don't think it is either.
And everyone I talk to, they agree. I get the yes, I get the yes.
No, without question.
All the shit that has been released and given to us, and the amazing advancement we've had, and it's whose fault is that?
I'm still too busy to do the things that will make me be less busy.
Right. But is it us sitting? How do I say this? Be polite to everybody. Is it saying, because I remember all the arguments I used to have back in the day to the geek friends going, oh, you just hold on to all of this so you can pretend that you're busy to show that no one else knows how to do your stuff. So like you're clinging, is it a job security thing?
And I know found us out.
You remember back in the day though, when we had our early Macs and the early Windows desktop publishing, we'd spend hours playing with fonts. We'd print out stuff in Comic Sans. Oh, look what I did, blah, blah, blah. Now we have the Soras of the world. We have all these really cool, we have the banana stuff. You can be a movie star creator type level person now. The problem is a lot of the things you're using are things that somebody else put a lot of effort and time, and a lot of artists spent a lot of time, and you're essentially regurgitating that. And that's why I said I'm impressed with this idea of world models. Maybe we can go beyond that someday and get to the point where rather than regurgitating something that was painted 100 years ago, I can actually have something that's truly unique. And I don't think we're there yet.
No. Getting on to, there was another topic that's been coming up, and I get really angry when I see it and I pretend it doesn't exist and then it goes away in my head, is this whole, and I don't want to, Michigan trying to get rid of VPN. And then I look at this going, God, that person's never worked a day in IT in their life. And then I'm going, well, what is it? And they're like, age verification. And I go, and everybody goes, oh, protect the kids. And then you look at it going, how many of us are remote work?
Yeah. Like
how many of us rely on that for everything? How many of us have 7 devices that are all on corporate networks? How many, our phones, our tablets, our 3 laptops, our desk at work? And then like, get rid of what?
My Plex server. I don't want to have that on the internet. I want to use Tailscale.
Right, but what can you, are you in the know on this, Dan?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, well, a fair bit, because this is not new. Michigan is not innovating on this particular topic.
What are they protecting?
It is definitely it's part of a much larger set of. It comes back to security versus privacy.
Why is it a
again.
state thing?
It's security versus privacy again. So you take this back a few steps. Oftentimes, the move toward better security, physical security, comes at the expense of privacy. Even in our worlds, we want to do deep packet inspection in order to be able to understand the packets moving in and out of a network. What does that mean in a case where you have incidental use, personal use of a machine on a corporate network? Now you may be looking at banking details or other things. So there's this trade-off that we do in trying to balance privacy and security. In Europe, there has been the GDPR, which has been quite a significant piece of protection for individual privacy, along with labor laws in many of the countries. In some countries, when you have a corporate machine, if there was the chance, or even a physical desk, if there was a chance that it was used for something personal, all of the expectations that we hold, that we think about here in the States, as you have the expectation of no expectation of privacy on a corporate machine, don't actually hold up. There was a case where a physical desk, somebody was fired from a company. The physical desk was locked, and the person who was fired went away for 2 months. But we couldn't remove the desk or pry open the locks because there was a chance that what was in it was personal in nature. So just setting the stage.
Schrodinger's desk.
Well, yeah, there was no cat, luckily, because after a month it didn't start to smell. But now we start to get into things like child content, CSAM material, child sexually explicit material about children, and we've seen a push again against privacy in order to, in the name of protection. And I want to go very clearly and say that all these comments, children are absolutely worth protecting, and this stuff is horrible. My sister is an attorney general in the state of Wisconsin, AAG in the state of Wisconsin, and this is what she prosecutes. Yeah. So don't take any of my comments as believing anything other than these kids need protection.
Yeah, I was going Turkish Netflix. I was completely thinking of how do I watch MMA fights from different countries?
Well, just realize that there's been a morality pull and push.
Yeah.
And there are some drivers that are not necessarily above board on their intents. Like there's just been a lot of players in the game.
But I hate to call it like, is it somebody that I never want to say it's fear mongering, but it's like taking a very small percentage and banging on a desk going, we need to stop this.
Absolutely.
And you're not looking at the big picture going, wait, what does this affect? Like,
So yeah, it's exactly
huge
right.
blast radius.
And so Apple pushed back when it came to end-to-end encryption on iMessage.
Yeah.
They wanted to be, there were laws that were coming in place. There's a new thing in Europe called chat control, which is looking to do the same thing.
That's why everybody in Europe uses WhatsApp.
But the law would be changed, and this is actually currently in flux. As the date of this recording, it is out of the law. As of 2 days ago, it was back in. They're negotiating how to put backdoors into end-to-end encryption, which, as everybody here knows, is the surest way. If I can build a backdoor in, somebody else can use it.
The Clipper chip.
Now, the Clipper chip, exactly. So now we come into adult porn and child and age verification laws. And they take different flavors depending on where you are in the world, but it's rooted in.
It's all the honesty system. You think a 12-year-old is going to say, what year were you born? And they just go to like 1955, and
that's
like,
what's been happening.
Right.
Go to DetroitCityDistillery.com and you get a front that says, "Tell me your birthday." Sure.
Right.
I've never put in my real birthday. Granted, I'm over 21, but I still don't put in my real birthday. But this is happening. So this has been happening in the adult industry as well. And as soon as, so recently the UK put in an age verification law with physical IDs that needed to be provided, or a facial scan to age estimate you. Well,
put a mask on.
So there's that. Then the usage dropped like 75% on the services, and VPN usage went up. Because what's the greatest phrase I ever learned from a guy who worked for me? Water will find its way. If we put a blocker in, water will find its way around. So will people. And so the VPNs come into play. Now these are starting to pop up in the US.
They're cheating in school, by the way, when you say they have location verification. They found a way to manipulate that.
Oh, I'm sure.
As my daughter told me, like, oh, I don't need to go. I just checked in, like, or whatever I don't even know. I don't even want her to tell me how they do it.
I'll be interested how fast the new Microsoft Teams feature that does this same thing based on the Wi-Fi you're connected to and reports back will be gamed.
Well, we can set up our own SSIDs at home.
That look just like the other one.
Go. Sure.
So now we come into the states, and then the states, numbers of states are burning. So we don't have a federal law. We don't have, politics aside, I don't think anyone would disagree that the federal government right now is not passing laws. No politics. They're just not. Yeah. It's not what they're doing. So they're not happening at a federal level. And so what happens then? The states start taking over, and so states are putting in laws, and again in different varieties. In Texas, you have to have parental. You have to have a parental approval, and they've put it with Apple and Google to do the verification. In other states, they said you have to go to a third party. And then driver's licenses started showing up on the dark web from these services.
Yeah, the service Discord users got breached recently,
So, and it's by state. So again, now we're going to be like privacy laws. We're going to end up with 52 of them, 55 of them. And Michigan's is starting to come out. And I don't know to what extent it's going to actually happen this way. But the rhetoric in Lansing is that this is the thing that is being proposed, that it's a ban on VPNs, a ban on, so technologically we'd have to implement it at the carriers.
But what does that mean from working from home? Like, what is that, the ramification, like, what does it mean?
Well, Bob, I suspect this will be the first ever law that was written a little unclearly.
No.
They've never happened before, but this could be the first one. No, I think what will happen is the law will be written in whatever form it's agreed to, and then it will be implemented in that way, and then water will find its way around it. It may affect, if it does affect work VPNs, then there will be an upheaval, and then there will have to be a change in landscape.
Who's going to sponsor all the YouTube channels with NordVPN?
Exactly.
Not in Michigan. There'll be a new location, checker in your CPM counts, and no Michigans, no Louisianas, no Utahs, no whatever.
All of a sudden now, everybody's watching our TV show from Turkey now. How'd that happen? Like, we must have hit it big over there.
But realistically, get on Starlink. I mean, you've got all sorts of non-terrestrial based. This is not the world that we used to live in. There's all sorts of other ways to do it. Now, granted, they all have some connection. Starlink has the best geolocation of any of the service providers. The cellular carriers now are enforcing.
Supposedly, you heard about the X location count creation thing.
Oh, that's Twitter. Yeah.
Twitter X. Yes. But they said, "Oh, I wasn't there. I used Starlink. Starlink had my location wrong. I'm actually in Washington, not Canada or whatever. So even Starlink is faulty with location services sometimes."
True.
Yeah, there's issues.
Or you can just go sit down on the riverfront and pick up Windsor Wi-Fi or cellular signal.
Exactly. That's my roaming bill.
I upgraded to a Canada roaming package just to deal with that.
Exactly. I'd be in meetings at Campus Martius, and I'd be on Windsor.
Yeah.
So it's an imperfect.
At least
it's an
the
imperfect
exchange
thing.
rate's 0.7.
Yeah.
I do at least like Apple's technological implementation of it, where they do everything on device, so no actual private data about you goes anywhere outside of your device. It's just your device says, yes, this person is 16. Yes, this person is 17. Yes, this person is 21.
And
you can choose what you share.
And it only presents the data that is necessary. Yes. Unlike that barcode on the back of your driving license, which you go to Meijer and you need to buy cold medicine. Ask me how I know this problem. And they scan the back of it, and in there is every demographic piece of information about you.
Yeah, your eye
Meijer
color,
does
your
not
height,
need to
your
know.
weight, all that.
Meijer does not need to know my weight.
About our weight, Jeff.
And
I haven't changed my weight since I was 16.
And the Apple thing, I think, isn't even like specific age. It's like, yes, this person is between 12 and 16, or yes, this person is over 18.
Exactly. Which is why I did load the passport,
The digital
and I'm gonna use it next time I fly. I can't use it at land crossings, but I'm definitely gonna use it next time I go through TSA.
It's almost like a bad movie. It's like watching one of those hacker movies and like, didn't they consult with somebody? I'm assuming someone at the state is talking to somebody smart.
And then some lobbyists.
But
the state has a CIO, and it's very interesting. It's going to mess up the state. The state
absolutely.
uses VPNs.
Yeah, all of this is
everyone
independent of
does.
GTMB.
How
Who
do all these
doesn't?
branch
That's what I want to
offices-
say. Who doesn't?
Exactly. All the zero trust is based on instant on VPNs.
Yeah.
That's going to all break.
An identity, Azure ID, whatever your identity of choice is.
Precisely. Are we going to switch to essentially using VDIs that we're connecting over a TLS connection?
Hope to Christ.
I hate to tell you, but TLS is a form of a VPN.
In a
It's
way
a
it is.
tunnel.
It's a tunnel.
So this comes back to the way it gets written will be a really important piece. Is it a point-to-point VPN? Is it over these three technologies? And as soon as you start naming technologies, you've lost because the technology moves on and then the law is ineffective.
Is it going to be like with the software-defined vehicles that my 1976 Cadillac is going to be like the gold standard, and now we're going to go back to like token ring ISDN, like T1s into our house to do like circumvent, or we just lost?
I don't know. I started printing photos last night, so that should tell you it's a return to the good old days. Yeah, it could very well be.
I have a feeling too, though, once the Michigan Economic Development Corporation sees it, they're going to say, because it's going to drive small businesses away. We're going to have issues as well. Our state does not yet have digital IDs, our driver's license. You can't register in Apple Wallet or Google Wallet today. I think there's 13 or 14 states that allow that. We're not one of them.
I don't think do we want that?
It could help because it could go into, like you were saying, you could selectively verify your age that way without revealing everything about your identity.
Too many of the 1984 dystopian like alarm ringers are going to like not poo-poo that to all heaven.
It's a good point. But your
go
children
look at the threads on the passports, and you will see all ranges of points on this topic.
Yeah. And they're all valid.
Yeah.
For the most part.
It's about how and back to the privacy regime. It's not about that you are collecting data. It's about how you're using it. And do you trust the people to do what they're saying they're going to do?
And are they going to store it forever and then have a breach eventually? We get breach notifications literally every day now from organizations.
But we've been talking about that since Google dropped the "Don't do evil" or whatever their tagline was.
Don't be evil. Yeah.
Don't be evil. And they dropped that and they're like, oh shit. Because think about everything we've given to our Google overlords over the last 15, 18 years.
Well, it's no secret. Chrome is still the best browser if you want compatibility.
Yeah.
And the Google ad network is where all the money comes from.
Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah, coincidence?
Exactly. Ad blockers need to get, what else is hot in the security world? I mean, because that was the one thing that stuck out with me, but like, what keeps you up at night? That was my favorite thing to do. And you might be out of the world now, but like we used to always trash on like the bad sales pitches. Like, what keeps you up at night? What is any bad actors recently?
They stopped asking. Now it's this thing that happened yesterday. Why aren't you staying? Why isn't it keeping you up at night?
We've helped companies such as, and you know what I love about like the recent one company, the 3-letter word cloud outage, that no one from the 4-letter short, came out and shit on them because they said it could be us tomorrow. And I appreciate that as vendors that they don't come out and say, even though everybody shit on DNS when it went down, but like nobody pointed the finger, because I think everyone knows in this this thing's volatile, man. We're all at a ticking time bomb and anything can get hacked, blown up.
Well said. And the thing too, Bob, is everyone's been talking post-quantum encryption and memory safe languages. Well, that recent outage was from a memory safe proxy that had a coding glitch that couldn't handle a huge configuration file, and it kind of fell over. These things are going to happen.
I just thought it was Patch Tuesday and they pushed a prod and they fell asleep.
There you go. Sometimes that happens. We've seen that before.
Once or twice.
We're always nervous when we apply our patches. But the mythical non-reboot kernel patch that's been talked about since my career started, I came from the Multics days where we could take processors and memory out, no problem. But once in a while, that thing would crash. Well, we're still dealing with that how many years later? When you look at what keeps me up at night, it's supply chain issues. We're still dealing with that. We have great people that are doing open source, but you think back to COVID, a lot of people that were doing open source, they didn't make it. They didn't survive COVID. So there's abandoned projects all over the place. Yeah. You have people that are forging credentials into repos and build and using tools. We don't want to mention that A word, but using tools to get their comment scores up, get their reputation built up, and then they detonate 2 or 3 years later.
So you're an open source advocate. I'd love to pick your brain on this, because I always looked at it as Wikipedia, and it's only as good as the arbiters. And if you have like 47 glue sniffers arbiting a Wikipedia article, you can make it be whatever you want it to be.
That's true.
And some of these things open source, while I like freedom of choice, I never got into I'm going to 100% trust, especially in an enterprise environment. Like what's I would love to get your take or your what you think of some of these open source tools.
It's a very good point. Some of the best web servers are open source. They've been forever. A lot of the innovation in our space has come from open source, because in a corporate world, you have a lot of
bored devs that are just wanting to build something better.
Well, they go home that night and they think about what they learned that day at work, or they in academics, or perhaps in their community, and they try to create something. And sometimes it'll be a single contributor, and that's all that ever runs that particular program. But a lot of times it'll pick up a community. And these days you have Discords, you have a lot of chat type situations that we didn't have back in the day. But you also have even simple things like your commit comments.
We had AOL, Jeff.
We had AOL. We had ICQ. Hey, 7920588. That's my old ICQ number.
Nice.
I got that thing memorized.
Nice.
See, there you go.
121-698-635.
Yeah, I love it. But the thing is,
Walton Beer. I didn't have an ICQ. I was Walton Beer on AOL.
some of these things take on a life of their own, Bob, and they can change the world. The Emacs editor, it's a religion thing. You look at how many people have piled on that thing. It can run high-performance computing software. It can do web browsing. It can do all kinds of, it can mine crypto, whatever you want it to do. Open source.
Boy, did we miss
Only
that
because it always knew it was never as good as VI.
Oh, you are a challenge. I'm going to get you. I'm not a VI fan. But anyway.
I always just used Nano.
Yeah. So Nano's pretty
Pico,
awesome.
what's
Pico,
there?
right? Yeah. From Pine, the Pine Mailer, another open source project.
I'd still use it if I could.
Some of the simulation products, the crash simulations, were open sourced by commercial entities. Mine was one of them. We turned one of our products into an open source product, and it's been absolutely amazing seeing what the community's done with it. But you're absolutely right. With that comes the other part of the dagger, and that is you can have a single contributor cause a world of hurt for a lot of companies, a lot of educational institutions, us as individuals. You can really make our life difficult. So we've got to find a way as a society to innovate and still be secure and protect ourselves. But a lot of this is we have to trust but verify.
Yeah.
And that's not easy.
If we learned anything from like the 4chan QAnon documentary, it's like there's a lot of people out there that want to see the world burn. And then they giggle about it.
They giggle about it, right?
And that was one of the, like always my issue with again. But when you guys release open source again, and you're the arbiters, you're the guardrails.
We do have some guardrails, and that's very true, Bob. When it's a corporate project, we can pick the contributors. We can remove people that for whatever reason we find unsavory.
Isn't that a fancy way just to say it's a hackathon? Get free.
That admittedly does happen. You get a wizard that knows an algorithm. You don't. They contribute it. Well, okay, now that's part of the open source project.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
And you didn't have to feed them Red Bull and cheap pizza, like a regular hackathon.
Yep, there you go.
And have a sales pitch from a couple of vendors. Yeah,
I mean, you got it. But some of the best security tools, like look what's been happening with some of the facilities that we rely on every day in our life. A lot of those open source projects lately with the Shai Hulud worm that's now in the news lately, and I'm dating the podcast by saying this, some simple mistakes that developers made to make their life easier are coming back to haunt them. And it's this continuous integration, continuous development. You need to have secrets. You need to have passwords or a key to allow access to your built-in QA systems. Well, people have figured out how to extract that and take advantage of that. And then, unfortunately, they can bury their way into a project that maybe an organization uses, and they may detonate that later and cause an issue. So our tooling is constantly racing to keep up with this stuff. Credential theft has been a problem for our entire careers, but now it's a much higher stake than it's ever been.
What are you doing? How do you fix? Is there a tool? Is there for every bad, there's a counter, like someone built something to fix it. Is there a fix? Is this,
pardon the term, the pets versus cattle thing? You have to be able to rotate your credentials, which can cause people running to the exits. I can't change my password. I will break my production. I will break my Exchange server. Well, the tooling has gotten better where we can actually do that at a scale now that hasn't been a problem in the past. Passkeys, some people poo-poo them. But that type of thing can help you tremendously.
2FA is as common as, I mean, it's been adopted. In the beginning, it was like, oh my God, I got to do 2FA. And now it's like, it's pretty widely accepted.
It is. The problem is it doesn't really work that well when you're dealing with an automated pipeline because you have to find a way to get that MFA injected. And developers, we're all human. We want to take breaks. We want to be a little bit lazy sometimes. We want this thing to work automatically on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
We don't want to have to enter a two-factor code when my phone's dead on battery.
Authenticator I had to do it the other day. I'm like, I haven't logged this in forever. And I have like 4 authenticator apps on my phone. And I'm like, oh my God, I just found it. Trust, and it wasn't labeled properly. So,
and one of the most ugly things is when your parent calls you and says, I broke my cell phone. I also turned off my backup. And then they realize those credentials are gone. You're not getting them back.
My mom just called me yesterday that her Facebook's too small, and I go, I don't know what that means, Mom. So I gotta go over there Sunday.
The answer is uninstall all those toolbars. Remember the toolbars
Yes.
that make you you get just this much left.
My father
Bing
downloaded
toolbar.
every toolbar known to the universe, and literally he must have had the bottom 4 inches of the monitor as I'm like, Dad, what is with all these? And he liked all of them had a purpose. Like, Pop, we can do tabs now. Like if you need your radio and all the, oh my God.
One of the other problems with MFAs too is the implementations that just half-ass it, where they rely on SMS or email as the authentication. And then if that's compromised, it's useless.
It'll rock your world. And that's one of our biggest problems is what happens if something happens to Gmail? A lot of that is going to fall apart really quickly. But there's no easy answers, Bob.
Yeah.
It just comes down. We have to treat security like an onion. We have to look at it from the inside out and the outside in.
Tie it to your belt,
Stinks,
as is
and
the
it'll
fashion.
It'll make you cry. It'll make you cry. It smells like,
There you go. But we have to be serious, too, that we're not going to ever solve all the problems. We have to reduce, and pardon the term, the blast radius as much as we can in our personal lives and our business lives and our educational lives too.
And know how we're going to respond when it goes pear-shaped.
Yeah.
Tabletop. Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons again.
I love it.
Keep bringing it back. We got to get you guys out of here. We could sit here and talk till midnight about all this stuff, but I can't thank you enough for hanging out with us. Jeff, again, congratulations on it. Just a legendary run. If there was a Hall of Fame in this town for IT, you'd be on, one of the heads up there. So, always great seeing you, and I look forward to your continued success.
Thank you. And thanks for the great community.
Great to have you in the studio.
Thanks for having me.
I bring Schneebs on, but I don't remember ever being a guest on the Great Security Debate podcast. Probably because I'm an idiot sales guy, but
well, we actually have some new shows coming out after the first of the year, which will for the first time involve guests.
Wow, let's go. I can bring no value to your show, but I would love to be a part of it.
Well, no, I dispute that.
All right, fair. But we're going to wrap things up for this episode of the IT and the D Show. On behalf of Bob and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.